GreenRoc Strategic Materials is focused on the development of critical mineral projects in Greenland. It has, however, decided that its graphite active anode materials production plant should be in Norway. It's putting more building blocks in place. I'm delighted to be joined by the Chief Executive, Stefan Bernstein. So, Stefan, a lot of paperwork. You've signed a letter of interest to secure an area in southern Norway for the production plant. So why have you chosen Norway?
That's right, Sarah. The reason we chose Norway is that, well, there's a whole range of reasons. First of all, it has some of the lowest, if not the lowest, energy prices, electric energy prices in Europe. That makes a big saving in the yearly production of the anode material, probably as compared to other countries, up to 10 to 15 million US dollars saving per year. It also saves an amount of CO2 emission because of the green energy generation that we have in Norway with the hydropower plants. So I can say that compared to China, for instance, we'll be saving the climate from more than 120,000 tons of CO2 emission per year for production of the same amount of anode material. And also, Norway has a national battery strategy, put a lot of different measures in place to support that industry. And then finally, it also signed an agreement with the European Union as a partnership and critical raw materials.
Okay, so Stefan, it sounds an ideal location. The area that you're eyeing up is 100,000 meters squared. It can be ready for construction by or in 2025, but it's not yours yet. So what needs to happen to make it yours?
Okay, so with the letter of intent that we have signed now, it's reserved for us. It is an ideal place for us. It's close to the port of Eyde, which is only 5 kilometers away. It's opposite to Morrow's new Gigafactory, and it's in a place that's already have a lot of regulations in place in terms of supporting a battery-related industry and chemical industries. Of course, eventually we'll purchase the ground. It's not particularly expensive, the price that has been indicated. So at the time where we are financing our construction of the plant, we'll also purchase the ground that we need.
Okay. Now, the infrastructure there sounds ideal also. I'm reading the RNS, the new power line providing 800 megawatts to the area, planned for 2027. Industry road already under construction. So I'm guessing that this is providing infrastructure to other projects in the location. So is the cost of the roads and the power lines to be shared? What's your financial responsibility in this?
Well, the industrial road is near completion now, and the power line that is going to be brought into the area has been planned for a long time and is going to be financed so that it provides energy to other industrial plants also. For instance, there are plans to establish an ammonium plant in Eide port. So a lot of the energy goes into these energy-hungry battery-related industries, of which ours is just one of them, and we'll be purchasing power from the energy provider there. So setting up the power line, for instance, the industry road, is something that the Eyde Material Park are putting in place to support these industries. So you can see it as another commitment from Norway to support these industries. So it's not something that we are paying for directly. We're not financing, for instance, the power line or the industry road.
I want to talk about the other bits of paperwork referenced in the investor update. At the same time, you've submitted an application to the EU to become a designated strategic project under the EU's Critical Raw Materials Act. Now, is the securing of the area in Eyde dependent on you achieving strategic project status, or will it happen regardless?
I think that will happen regardless, but of course, it's more the other way around, that us securing this place in Norway and establishing ourselves in Norway makes us eligible for becoming a strategic project under the Critical Raw Materials Act, because they have to be in either EU country or in a country, in a so-called overseas territory country, which is a country that has a partnership agreement in place with the EU.
So is the strategic project application costly, and how will a strategic project label benefit the company? I'm just wondering, how much will it cost and how long will it take to process and approve this submission?
So there are not really any costs involved with the application, apart from our time, of course. So it's now submitted, and the processing time will probably be some months here over the fall. The expected announcements of the first strategic projects will be in December this year, and it will be a board, evaluation board consisting of people from the EU Commission and designated experts. And I think it's really important with these strategic projects, because they open doors for instance, various types of funding. So we'll be eligible for financial support from EU funds, including grants and loans and guarantees also. For instance, the European Battery Alliance is establishing a €500 million fund to support industries in the raw materials supply chain towards the batteries.
Well, that's comforting. Let's hope that you'll get that project status. Finally, the other bit of paperwork that's mentioned in the investor update is you've submitted the project description for the Amitsoq Graphite Mine in South Greenland to the government of Greenland. How long will this take to be approved? And then, if approved, what steps are remaining to get this mine operational?
Right, concerning the mine project in Greenland, of course, this is a very significant step for us. It's going now to be commented and finally approved by the Greenland government before it goes out in public hearing, which is a minimum of 35 days. After that, we will write up a white book, and then that goes in as part of the application for exploitation permit, which I believe we can submit before the end of this year. And then the processing of that should only be a matter of months. So when we speak again sometime a year from now, we should definitely have the exploitation permit in place. And then that's the final political approval of the project. Then comes, of course, the mining permit, which is more like a technical approval of the environmental or social impact assessments and other things. So when you ask what is then the next milestones ahead of time before we are in production, well, with those permitting in place and conducting the definitive feasibility study, hopefully completing in 2026, we can start construction in 26, 27, leading to the mine opening in 28.
And as ever, Stefan, crudely I will end on a funding question, because you've suggested that the Active Anode Material Production Plant, it could be partly funded by loans from Norway, but what about the mine in Greenland? Where would the money come from, or are we looking at joint venture partnerships?
So exactly, that's. I think it'll become a mix of public grants and loans, and particularly as we expect to become a strategic project under the Critical Raw Materials Act. There's also some national funding instruments in the Danish kingdom that are becoming available to us. And then obviously we are now also, we're speaking now to a short list of interested potential joint venture partners, industry companies that are establishing themselves in the raw materials business.
Lovely. It's an awful lot of paperwork and lots of milestones to look forward to. Stefan Bernstein, the Chief Executive of GreenRoc Strategic Materials. Thank you very much indeed.